It's just business as usual, but not really. The Idaho Board of Examiners closed out a private executive session, and their big move was a statement of no action. They were discussing their legal strategy on the State Street ITD building. Private buyers thought that they bought the property until the state transportation budget blocked the sale. And our Andrew Bartline caught up with the Attorney General of the state of Idaho in the hallway after this executive session this morning, I should say, and getting those details and the cards and all of this is very interesting.
Yeah, but private counsel is now joining, and that's partly the piece that made this interesting. That's the newest thing we learned earlier this week, Joe. They're coming in to assist the state in parts of this case because the AG told us today he and the governor seem to be out of step, both in their communication and legal strategy. If you think a business partner is only strong as their word,
this is a legitimate commercial transaction,
then you know only a signature is binding.
Purchase and sale. That was not completed.
Meaning the state decided to bail on this ITD property sale, breaking their word on a $52 million deal.
Please know that we did not just come to this conclusion willy-nilly without careful thought.
And a careful vote.
House Bill 726 has passed the House.
It later became law, fittingly, through a Dodge signature.
As far as, hey, we may get sued, well, kind of get sued for anything nowadays, right?
The winning bidder filed the suit a month later.
Examiners come to order.
This Friday board meeting between the governor, attorney general, and secretary of state booted us. Legally, they can to discuss private legal strategy, which seems up in the air. A statement from the governor's office says the attorney general worked behind his back, saying, quote, the filings were neither presented nor approved by the board prior to filing.
No, that's not accurate. So they had always been made aware of what our legal strategy was going to be.
So this idea that you submitted documents without consulting the other people in the Board of Examiners, you're saying that's not true?
We consulted the staff and we consulted the governor.
Why have I heard then that that's not what happened?
Because it's whatever statements have been made contrary to that are completely inaccurate.
Court documents show the governor is now bringing in a private attorney to represent the Department of Admin and ITD. AG Labrador still represents the state.
It doesn't happen very often, but in this case, he disagreed with the legal strategy on this case, and he's free to do that.
The disagreement is seen in both briefs. AG Labrador prepared to defend the state legislature and uphold their action to block the sale. The private attorney's brief just asked the court to make a decision one way or the other.
Our legal strategy on this is pretty simple. It's that this is not the right venue. This is not the right way to force the state to create a contract or to engage in a contract. So I don't really have an opinion about the fight between the governor and the legislature.
Roll call vote.
In the executive session today, no further action was taken. Just a chance to get back on the same page.
You guys haven't. We are adjourned.
We know the governor has been conflicted on blocking this sale, or the block of the sale, I should say. He disagrees with the legislature that blocked it. We know that from his transmittal letter, and he was not willing to throw them under the bus, essentially, with a veto, because he says it would have risked losing the rest of the budget that he did otherwise like. So now a judge could essentially save what the governor wants by making that decision to block the sale for him. In that case, Joe, he would get to have his cake and eat it too. But the problem is the attorney general wants to keep the block in place, so they don't see eye to eye on this.
This will be a very interesting case for us to follow into the summer. I believe that the arguments at the Idaho Supreme Court are scheduled in sometime in August, late August. Andrew, thank you for the report. We'll check back in on this story as it continues.